open up the desktop version of PowerPoint here. And remember, you can get that through your FIT credentials if you log on to Microsoft.com. Here is the blank presentation. We're going to go with that. Okay, so let's load a blank presentation here. I'm just going to make it full screen. And first thing we're going to take a look at is the themes. So just like Word, if you go to design, you have a whole bunch of themes here that dictate some of the screen elements, the colors and layers and things like that. Fonts are there. So what you want to do is pick one. I think that's relatively simple. These two Office ones up front are very simple. This one is nice. Ion. There's another one here called Facet. Let's go with that. Okay, so now we have that. We can go for various variations on it. So there are some built-in variants here that you can do, different color schemes, or we can go here to colors and pick one of these other color schemes that might accentuate your personality, your personal branding. You can also actually create your own totally with hex codes by going to customize colors. I'm just going to pick one of these for time's sake. Let's go with red. And you can see it immediately changes. And it's a lot of the other things will change. The subtitle, the hyperlink colors, all those things will change to that new color palette. Okay, so now that we have that, we can also adjust the fonts. Microsoft designers have given us a whole bunch of font pairs that work well together. A lot of them are just font families, but I like two different fonts, makes things stand out. So something like this, where you have a sans serif for the headline and a serif for the copy, can work really nicely. Let's try that one. Okay, so you can see how it changed right away. Now we have the sans serif headline and the body copy in a serif font. Okay, so the next thing then would be to look at the slide master. So if you go to View and then Slide Master, you're going to see the Grand Master and all of the layouts. So these are the basic templates kind of what every slide is going to look like. And you can do things to them like modify them or even create new ones to customize them to your liking. So for instance, on the Grand Master, what we might want to do is put something that repeats or is a universal change. So let's try a universal change first. I'm going to select the title here and I'm going to go home and make it larger. And then I'll also center align it. Okay, so you'll notice that they all adjusted to that now. All the titles and all the layouts are center aligned and larger. So you get the idea of how that universal change works. The next thing I'm going to do is a repeating element. So we'll go to Insert, and on the Slide Master, I'm going to insert a camera cameo. Okay, so there it is. You can pick different ones and you can make some adjustments to them and things like that. I think you can see me if I just click on this. Hello. So that one's nice, and you can certainly resize it or move it around. Make sure it doesn't obscure anything else. Obviously, if it's on the master, it'll work. Some masters, like the title master, it may not appear on, like you don't want it on the first slide maybe. So we have the title master, then we have a content master here. You can modify these masters just by opening them up and modifying them again by moving things around or whatever. I'm going to just create a new one. That's probably going to be even better, right? So right here, I'm going to say Insert Layout, and we'll make this layout for video. So I'll just say something like social media video. And then what I'm going to do is insert a placeholder for media. Okay, so we can make our video play with that one like that. Okay, so there's our placeholder. You can pretty much position it where you want. Okay, so you get the idea. So you can modify the placeholders and the master slide in this view. You could add new placeholders. I'm going to just right click on this one or control click and rename it. And I'll name it video sample. Okay, so let's rename it. Okay, so now that we've got all that there, we can actually start building our show. So let's go back to the regular slides by clicking Close Master. Okay, and here we are at the title slide, and I'm going to say something like, And we're making this for Stitch. I gave him a last name In Time. Okay, again, we can resize things, we can move them around. Maybe we'll, move this one up top over here and put this one as a kind of caption where his name is going to go. Let's insert a picture of Stitch. I'm going to go picture from file. Okay, it's a nice shot of him. I think it works nicely. We can make this bigger. We can make this like our caption there. Again, you can make it larger. One way to make it centered might be something like this, where you take these handles and just line them up to the picture. The middle one works better. And then we'll center that. You get the idea. I'm not going to finesse it. You can finesse it longer. You want to keep the video short, right? So let's make a new layout now. I'm going to go now to new slide and we'll do our content layout. I'll call this one ad sample. So what I want to do now is get a picture. Again, from my device, I've saved something. Okay, so here is our campaign for pet adoption. And I'm going to add a text box to this. I could have done it actually in the master view. So let's add that text box. And here in the text box, I'm going to say something like my process. How did I evolve this? Who was the client? Then I'll say my role. Maybe you worked with a team. You didn't do everything. And then I'll say my results. You might want to have a metric in there that shows that you increase sales or something like that over a period of time. Good. So I just want to show you the morph transition here. It's kind of cool. If you have multiple items on a slide, I'm just going to copy this slide and paste it. So now we have two of them. And on the second one, what I'll do is change the things that are on there. So I'll take my results and let's make it larger. And we'll move it a little bit. And then we'll take the actual image here. I'm going to make that larger. And then I'll add another item. Maybe this was an award-winning one, so I'll go to the shapes and pull up one of the banners. Okay, now you can adjust with this little yellow thing, kind of adjust the way it looks. If you control click, you can add text. Okay, we can resize that text or resize this so that it fits. Now I'm going to animate this also. So let's click on it. We'll go to the animations here. So animations are great because they allow you to have your audience focus on things. Like for instance, if I animate this list, while I put my process up there, no one's reading my role or my results, right? So I can kind of keep them spoon fed on the presentation so they focus on it. And also things that move tend to attract attention. So let's take a look at this. We're going to give it a fly in. And it's going from the bottom, but I want it to go from the top. So, and you can also adjust like how it's going to do. So I'll make it with previous, which will be automatic. I won't have to click on it. And then in the animation pane, I can do more things like not from bottom, but this time from top. Okay. If there were more things that were animated, you would see them in this list and you could move them around. They also all get this animation tag that'll be numbered. And then, you can shuffle them around if you want to change the order. But I think we're happy with that. So let's do one more before you should have a contact slide, some other ones. But let's use one of the new content placeholders that we created. We'll go to home and then new slide. I'm looking for that video sample. Here it is, right? Video sample. So let's insert that one, and then we can insert some media in there. And I have some media of Stitch. Okay, so there he is. And you'll notice that you can do things like pick a poster frame, like maybe you want to pick a different image from the file. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's like a thumbnail, but from the video actually here. So if I look at him, I like this one here. He is in the control. I'm in the studio doing a countdown. So current frame, that's what we want, right? So that will set that one now as the current frame. And then we can also say things like how this will play back. Does it have to be clicked on again? Will it start automatically? So let's do that. We'll start it automatically and it will play. Okay, great. The other thing, and it's pretty much the last thing, is the idea of transitions. So if you want this to run automatically, you can take off this on mouse click and change it to automatically after. That'll also be good if you want to download it later as a video. Okay, so let's make it automatically after 2 seconds. It's not going to work for the video because the video is longer than that, but you get the idea, right? Then we can apply to all. But mouse click will actually override that. So if I click the mouse in less than 2 seconds, I'm going to make it 3 seconds. It will automatically change the slide. So I got to do that. But I'm going to go back to transitions and choose morph. And again, we're going to make it apply to all. And then I'll run the show one more time just so you can see how that morph transition looks. Okay, so here's the morph. See how nicely and smoothly that works. And then back to Stitch's video. So you get the idea. Let me know if you have any questions. This is very simple. I'm going to give you something that I designed in the Cengage kind of mind tap sequence of doing something like this. And then also you can use a template if you want to kind of make it easy on yourself. And we'll talk more about that later. But let me start you with this, and hopefully things will work out. Let me know if you need any help with anything.